Ghanaians will always tell you, yes, they got it, but they don't. And they will do something that's unimaginable. And my friend almost lost his mind and he finally surrendered. It's just like, oh my God, did you leave your brain in the house? If you are coming down here and you have that, obsessive, controlling personality, like you want everything to go your way and you are this way, and you're trying to move fast, my friend, you're going to lose your mind in Ghana. Let me start off by saying that, working with certain artisans, I have come to realize that they leave their brains at home before they come to work. Because the kind of stuff these guys can do on the ground, you cannot wrap your mind around it, right? Like, for example, mason is plastering and they left something there. Like, they didn't finish the plastering. This can happen because they left their brain home. And the painter comes over who can easily knock off this little, thing that's stuck on there, supposed to be a smooth surface. He will paint over it, right? It's kind of petty stuff like that. And it gets extremely annoying trying to supervise this. So imagine working on a big project and then having to supervise a lot of people who are not using their brains on the job. It is not a joke. That's what you go to down here. Funny enough, I thought this was only Ghana, but I came to realize it's actually a thing. A friend of mine in the Philippines is actually going through the same thing right now because he's renovating his space. It's his first time doing anything construction related, and he's been through hell. So he's telling me like, wow, I don't know how you do this. I'm like, yeah, it's not a joke. It's the same thing here, right? He spent so much money. They tell him this is wrong. He fixes that's not wrong and a lot of stuff. So whenever you see somebody like in Ghana who is building into construction and making it happen, you need to have a tremendous amount of respect for that person because it is absolutely not a joke on the ground. So you also have instances where you bring somebody in to come do a job and they'll portray themselves as angels, and once you pay them, they will never show up, right? And you have to chase them and all that. Most of the time they do away with the money. So us being on the field and employing a lot of people because we have our regulars, but then sometimes we have 5 6 projects going on. You might have to bring in somebody new, right? And this happens. And sometimes too the old guys get comfortable or whatever happens. I don't know. But Ghanaians could be really short-sighted. Somebody that you've worked with for 2 years plus, you've given a lot of work to that person, and one day they can just wake up and just take your money and run away. We had an incident which depicts this perfectly. It was a guy who used to install windows for us, and he worked for us for about 2 years. And one day we just gave him a big chunk of money because the trust was there, and that was it. We never heard from the guy again. So we're calling the guy. The guy's not picking up. And when this happens, because of the way we operate with a contract, we don't go to the client and cry like, oh, this happened and that happened. Whenever something goes missing or somebody takes the money and doesn't show up for the job, it's our loss. So imagine operating a business down here where people are absolutely capable of doing stuff like this more than you think. So to me, it's absolutely worth it to hire a contractor who will take on the risk, at least who will take on the risk, because I've had many instances where people that we take over a project for, they'll spend like twice the amount on the house and it's still not done. Or sometimes they finish and they will come in and steal your electrical wiring. I can't wrap my mind around that one. Why would you steal electrical wiring when the person had like basically screeded over the stuff? You are creating like work for that person and you're not going to get much from this electrical wirings that you are stealing. This is actually quite normal in Ghana where people go in and steal electrical wiring and cause a lot of money. Of course, that person has to pay twice now. But not only that, the job is much harder now because they've screeded over it, which means the pipes that they pass the electrical wiring through is all buried. And you have to meticulously do this, and it's very tedious and arduous job to do. And they do not care. Artisans, local people stealing petty stuff from you. You guys see my pressurized washing machine video where they came to steal my stuff. And after that, I have experienced a lot of theft on the site. They've stolen all the wiring work that I did because there's an injunction on my car wash. So on the construction site, it's not a joke. My house, actually, I think we have portion where the tile is a bit lighter than the rest of the house. It doesn't look bad at all because it's a bit separate. And the reason behind that is because we bought a lot of tiles for the building, but the people on the site were impatient and they decided to steal some of the tiles before it was done. And they stole a lot. That person was probably building and budgeted my tiles for his living room and his bedroom. So he stole a lot of tiles, and I was short on tiles. So we ended up firing the whole team just to bring somebody else in, because it was becoming very hard to find out who did it. Eventually, we found out, but these things can happen. And when I went to buy the tiles, I couldn't find the exact same tiles, so I found something very close. So the gym tiles is a lot lighter. Laundry room tiles is a lot lighter than the rest of the house. And even the living room, I think two or three corrections that was made was different tiles, right? But it's not so different, so it doesn't look bad at all. But this is the headache that these people put on the contractors. Or if you choose to build yourself, this is what you should be ready for. That you will pay people that will not show up to do the work, and you have to pay somebody else to come do it. That you have people on site that will steal from you. That you will have people that will charge you a ridiculous amount because of your status, the car you're driving, your accent, the foreigners tax, whatever, right? So if you are planning on building in Ghana, these are all the risks that you are subjecting yourself to. And not to mention that the contractor themselves, you might come against a contractor who will take the money and not do the job at all. They will not do it at all. It happens more than you think. They will not even show up to do it. And you take a big L for the contractor because you have to pay, you've paid like 30-20% of the project and he's gone. So it is a brutal terrain out here that I'm just letting you know. And I'm not even talking about the land issues, right? So you've been through the land hurdles. I'm talking about now you are building, you're going through this. But before you even get here, there's a lot of wahala. In Ghana, wahala means a lot of crap that you have to deal with. This video is brought to you by Akkadian Limited. Akkadian Limited is a company that I co-founded in Ghana. If you want your solar systems installed, if you want to buy land, if you want to design your house, if you need somebody to build for you, or you're already building and you want somebody to take over the building, we also provide a service of customized furniture. So if you want anything wood, you see the bookshelf behind me, all of that, we got you. It's customized. Whatever you want, you just gotta let us know what you want. We'll design it for you. If you have an example, we will do it for you. Look no further by Akkadian Limited. The link is in the description below. Reach out to us and we can talk. Being a contractor in Ghana is not a joke, but it is worth the risk, is worth the problem that we are trying to solve. It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. And I try my best to explain to clients that it is not a joke on the construction site. But we're going to make sure that you get a perfect work 6 months after your project is done. So we try to get you to perfection. But these artisans, we had a situation where, everything was done. Somebody came to put a window and they drilled through the pipe, right? So we've tested the water before he came in, right? And he drilled through the pipe. So now you try to turn on your shower and there's a leakage. Now we have to break tiles, remove this, and put it back on and fix it. It's just like, oh my God, did you leave your brain in the house? I remember my friend from UK who was really like on it. Like he was really on it. He hates stupidity. And he came to Ghana, he was building a beautiful house, and he was heavily hands-on, trying to get things his way. And he's like meticulous with his stuff, right? He's a friend of mine. Ghana taught him patience, because the amount of stupidity that these guys are doing is like, are these guys zombies? He told a guy to cut a small hole for a fan. When he came, the guy taking the hole, stealing off, right? Sometimes when you're talking, they will not hear you, right? They don't understand what you are talking about, especially if you have a UK accent or an American accent. But they will always say yes. Ghanaians will always tell you yes, they got it, but they don't, and they will do something that's unimaginable. And my friend almost lost his mind, and he finally surrendered, right? So if you are coming down here and you have that obsessive, controlling personality, like you want everything to go your way, and you are this way, and you're trying to move fast, my friend, you're gonna lose your mind in Ghana. So when you come down here, Ghana will teach you patience. That's the only way, or you cannot live here. You're gonna learn how to be patient. You're gonna learn how to deal with crap in a way. Because if you don't, you are not gonna be here. So an example of this is when I first came here, I was a no-nonsense guy, straight to the point. I was very patient, but I was straight to the point, black and white. Everything has to be like in order. This is wrong, this is right. But I quickly learned, right? That's how I'm in court right now, because the guy came in and I feel like I could have avoided the situation. But I was so black and white, and I was taking him on. Everything by the book, and I'm in court, delayed me for 2 years. I'm not wrong in any way, but I've learned how to live here. You think you are hard, you think you know everything out there. You don't. The things out here, the things that people are dealing with out here, it's crazy, right? So sometimes when people get it so easy and you're on the ground doing things, They don't appreciate it. Because sometimes we just have to leave you to it and let you feel it and let you see what we're talking about. So it is not a joke out here, but we are making it work. Ghana is on the rise, and all the things are going to change. I do not know because of this similarity that my friend is experiencing in the Philippines. It's the exactly same thing in Ghana. So I don't know if it's the pay. A construction worker here is making like 200 Ghana cedis a day on a construction site. I do not know why they do what they do. I'm not saying all of them, but the vast majority of the construction workers leave their brains in the house, like literally leave their brains in the house, and they will do something that is unthinkable. Like a 5-year-old person will not do it. And you will be thinking like, wow, what was this person thinking? Why do they do that? And that is what you have to deal with down here if you are trying to work with artisans and whatnot. It's not a joke. Now that's just being in the construction space. So let's say you have a restaurant as well and you wanna hire people to do work, like you training them to do the work. I'm sure you can do a great job and train them. But I've been in Ghana for a long time now, almost 3 years, and I've been visiting Ghana for quite some time before I moved. And I realized that the workers just don't care. They don't care. It's a few places where the customer service is on point because they are heavily trained, and also they micromanage the living hell out of them and they get things on point. But on the average, the Ghanaian worker does not really care. Like they don't care. I personally think they're not caring, not paying attention to detail, just leaving your brain in the house and thinking like, oh, they don't pay me well, so I don't care, contributes greatly to Ghana not being a place that most people don't want to be. A lot of people come to Ghana on money and end up not staying and living. And a lot of people are not in Ghana that would love to come back, but because of the brutal terrain, they just don't do it. So if these people are investing back here, they feel comfortable, people are doing what they're supposed to do, and they are happy moving forward, then the country is going to do what? Move forward. We are definitely moving forward, but we are moving at a very slow pace. It could be faster. So this is where we stand. And I strongly think that, in the future, things will get better. But as of now, you really have to be on the Ghanaian worker, like, hey, plaster this way, paint this way. Sometimes we send a painter in to go do something, and they do something like, wow, you think this is your job? You train for this. I'm not. And we got to tell them, hey, why don't you do it this way? And they'll do it. It's just crazy. Like, no personal accountability, not really taking initiative, not really caring about the job. They think the job is for me. So I have to come in and make sure that they do it how they are supposed to do. Though you are trained and you know how to do it, but they just don't care. Like they don't care. Like they got paid. And sometimes I think they are trying to get paid twice to do it. That wouldn't be true either, because if you mess up and I call you in, I'm not paying you again. Right? It's either that or you get fired. You come in to fix your own mistake, right? And it's just so stressful, right? It's a lot of politics on the ground dealing with artisans. It's not a joke. The same thing if you have a business, right? I had this guy reach out to me. He had I think he had 3 locations gym. He was here at some point, but he left to go back because he said he's trying to get his cash together. But basically, he left the gym, and ever since he's lost all his profits. He's lucky he's breaking even. He just needs somebody who can manage, who's not going to steal from him because he got people stealing from him. Ghana, most gym membership is like people are paying manually. You come in to pay. There is no system that's automatically taking the money out. So that's the system he got. And the workers do not care to call the people like, hey, please, your membership, expired. Do you want to renew? Like take the initiative to get the people on the ground and just make sure that people are renewing. So people are not renewing, people are not coming in, and the business is dying. So he reached out to me, and luckily I had somebody for him. But it is not a joke to get like good people out here who will not steal from you, who do the job, who be understanding and try to do the right thing. It's not a joke. We are kind of short-sighted here, unfortunately. It's very short-sighted, right? So the example that I gave of this guy who stole the Windows money, we've went on to build at least 10 houses after him. So all of this was going to go to you, but now somebody else is eating, and your profit alone was going to be more than the money you took up. Like, I don't know like what was here in that gray mass in between their ears. I have no idea. But this is the reality on the ground. That is not a joke. So be prepared and buckle up. If you're trying to do it yourself, buckle up. Buckle up, my friend. Buckle up. Now, if you've not subscribed to the channel already, kindly do so. I'm always out here presenting you guys with valuable information. Let you know what's on the ground, unfiltered, the good and the bad. And make sure to comment Let me know what you think. Like the video, it helps with the algorithm. And until next time, my friends, be legendary. Peace.